Hi, everyone. Welcome to Contest with Modi. I'm Saagar Modi, and today I have on a guest, Isaac. Hi, Isaac. How are you doing today?
Good, good. Welcome, everybody. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Isaac, for coming on today. Isaac has his own channel called Greatness Glory on YouTube. You can check it out. I'll post a link to it later. What sparked your spiritual awakening or interest in spirituality?
Okay, so interest, I can talk about spiritual awakening. That's one of those terms that are very vague and people use it vaguely. I think it's very misunderstood. Like people go all around in social media and say like I'm spiritually awakened and stuff. I don't know if they're comparing themselves to Buddha or somebody like that. They say I'm spiritually awakened, but like I actually did a podcast about this. It's on my YouTube channel. It's about, I think it's called, it was about Matrix and spiritual awakening and such. Like, it's like the misunderstanding that people have, just like there's a lot of myths and misunderstanding about Tantra, yoga in the West and stuff. Somebody thinks if they are right now, they understand that, oh, the society is being controlled by the Illuminati or whatever. And this is, oh, now I'm spiritually awakened. They want to poison us, they want to kill us, and all those conspiracy theories and stuff. But really, I don't consider myself spiritually awakened. I've been walking on a spiritual path probably for 20 years and I'm becoming more awakened. I'm not fully awakened or anything like that. That's a misunderstanding that needs to be clear. We cannot compare ourselves to like Buddha or something like that and say, "Oh, I'm fully enlightened now and I'm beyond duality and illusion or something," because that's what it means to be spiritually awakened. But as for my journey starting with spirituality, as far as I remember, the first memory that I have was when I was pretty young, maybe 13, 14 years old. All of a sudden I started um, becoming interested about the origin of myself and God and such. I remember because I was born in a Jewish family back in Iran, which is like Islamic country, and it wasn't also easy being a minority there. But as a Jewish person, I wasn't ever like a super religious Jewish person. I believed in God and such, and I studied some things in Judaism school and such. But I remember the first thing that came to me was, who is God? I need to connect with God. And I remember I used to like just prostrate in my bedroom and call God and say, God, please come, like talk to me and things like that. And then that was the first thing I remember. And then it led me to other things gradually. First time I read the New Testament Bible, it was one of my first, I can say, unique experiences because it was first time I was reading something which wasn't just like rigid rules like Judaism and Islam. It's just like about do this, don't do that. Like you do this, you go to hell and whatever. It was more about inner spiritual teachings and love and things like that that you read in the New Testament from Jesus. And there was an energy. I can say I felt an energy. Then I went to Christianity and I went to church for many years. I had a lot of good spiritual experiences and things like that. And around the same time, I also mentioned this one time before in my biography. Remember, one of the other things that I can say it always remained in my memory is that one time I was going back from school. Actually, two things. Let me say it like this. The probably one of the oldest memories I have from the kind of becoming spiritually curious and then going after it is this one actually. There was a lady, one of our relations, she was into that kind of stuff that they invoke the spirits and things like that, like the Ouija boards and things like that. I was like, first time I heard about those kind of stuff. And she used to come to our place a few times and I was very curious about those kind of stuff, and I asked her, and she said, "Go read this book." So there was a book, it was like 2 volumes, each one like this much thick. It's called Man is a Soul, Not a Body. It's from, I think, this Egyptian doctor who documented a lot of things about connecting with spirits and stuff. I don't like those kind of stuff now. At that time, I was more into like beginner and curious about supernatural stuff. I read that book. It was very interesting. I was like, wow, there is more to life. And that was the one of the first things that kindled my interest. And then I was going back from a school one day. I was, as I was saying, maybe I was about 15. And then I saw this book behind the glass of this bookshop. It's called Meditation, The Journey of Awakening by Ramdas. And it was very interesting for me. First time I actually came to know about meditation also. Then the first thing, and I always used to think in terms of images rather than having like a self-talk in my head, like a lot of people is like, my mind has been more intuitive. Like this image came to me that, oh, I can sit here and close my eyes and experience the whole cosmos. That's very good. Why not do that? And then I got into yoga, and I studied a ton of stuff and yoga and meditation and tantra and Vedanta and things like that, and been initiated by different gurus and studied different traditions and things like that.
Great, great. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And so a lot of my background and a lot of the reasons why I got into spirituality was because I had mental health struggles, and I had, I still have, OCD and anxiety issues, and I had mental health struggles since I was 18. I'm 37 now. Um, I had schizoaffective, and I'm not telling you to go into all that, but how does spirituality affect mental health, and what advice would you give someone for someone who has mental health struggles, like in terms of spirituality? I mean, I think everyone kind of has mental health struggles at some point in some respect, but
Yeah,
in
correct.
terms of how do you connect spirituality to mental health?
Well, some people would say, oh, spirituality helps with your mental health, but the spirituality is very broad, depends on what kind of path or technique you're talking about. At some other times, in a different view, actually, spirituality might even worsen your mental health issues if you're not walking the right path,
Hmm.
especially if you're not following an authentic, well, let's say, a structured path. If you go and learn, for example, yoga, especially hatha yoga and raja yoga, like meditation, learning to balance your mind, and hatha yoga to balance your body energies and things like that. If you learn it under guidance of a good teacher and do it properly, it's tremendously helpful for mental health issues. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, the things that yoga can do for helping create health in you is thousands of times more effective than modern psychology stuff, at least most of the things that they do. But it's always been a crazy thing for me that they never make those kind of things mainstream. They just do those things that barely helps anybody and has a very low success rate. That's my view.
Yeah. Okay. And the American yoga, what's your view on the yoga that's taught in America, like the studios in America, throughout America? Do you think
It's
that they're,
horrible.
yeah.
It's like maybe 10% of it is really authentic yoga. The rest of it is either gymnastics or even worse. You know all the
Yeah.
crazy things that you see, like people create new styles of yoga, beer yoga, goat yoga, puppy yoga, and things like that.
Oh, yeah,
And
puppy yoga.
barely even anybody even understands that even though the physical asanas are a very small part of yogic spirituality. Even the asanas by itself can be a very powerful system of a spiritual transformation, because every asana awakens and clears something in you, in your consciousness, in your brain, nervous system, energy body, and so on. If I want to go into that, it's going to take a long time to explain it. But asanas itself, if done in the right way, are very powerful. It can actually create tremendous physical and spiritual, mental, psychological healing in you.
So the yoga, what is there a specific yoga that you recommend people do? I mean, I guess they would have to do it online. I mean, I don't know if maybe they can do it online, or is there like something? I know Kevin was recommending Sadhguru's yoga. Is there something that you recommend?
Well, there are a lot of things. I studied a lot of things, and sorry, I've been having some runny nose.
That's okay.
I studied so many different traditions and spiritual practices. There's a lot of things which you can do. I think it's very important to find a good instructor that can guide you. If
Mm.
you go just by learning it from a book, it is still good, but you might not succeed well. But as for different styles of yoga or whatever, I mean, there are many things I can say. If you start just doing anything regularly, after some time you will see it helps you. Even if it's not so-called yoga, even if you dedicate to wake up in the morning and go for a 15-20 minutes conscious walk without paying attention to phone and stuff, just like walking consciously, breathing, that's a type of yoga for itself. But it will give you result when you really make it a daily practice that you do, and you see it really affects very, it has a tremendous effect in you. I want to share a very interesting experience actually. A few years back, I was dealing with some health issues, and I went to an Ayurvedic doctor, and he gave me a ton of different medications and different things and so on. After a few months, when I went back and we were discussing what happened, he also told me one important instruction. He said you should wake up 6 a.m. and go take a 30 minutes walk. That wasn't something that I was doing. I said to him, all the things that you gave me, the medication and stuff, and maybe they were helpful, but the most important thing that really helped me was that 30 minutes walk in the morning. It really changed the vibe of your day. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something crazy. It can
Mhm.
be something like that. It's just like about those small changes a lot of time to create the basic balance. And I wrote a book on balance. It's called Art of Balance. You can find it on Amazon or on my website, greatnessglory.com. Um, I'm not saying I like that book because I wrote it, but even if I read it from some other author, I would really love it, because I really put a lot of important details in a compact way in the book about how to create balance in different aspects of your life. Because if that balance is not there, there won't be happiness in your life, there won't be health. Forget about spirituality or enlightenment and whatever. It's like that's even much far away. That balance, basic balance, should be there first, then you can build other things on top of it. Because if your body, if your psyche is distracting you all the time and taking your energy, then you won't have enough mental energy, attention, and all that to focus on the higher things, right?
Yeah. And yeah, so this is a really popular topic, and a lot of people, it seems like, are trying to pursue careers that they're more passionate about. And I wanted to talk about that because it's a popular topic, and I was talking to Kevin about it as well. Kevin's a mutual friend, and I interviewed him. Do you do you yourself, how do you view someone who wants to pursue their passions over a normal career or like a career that they don't like? And what advice would you give someone who hates their career or dislikes their career and wants to switch to something that they're passionate about? What would you tell them?
Well, I'll say that whether it's your passion as a career to become kind of successful and make more money, or if it's some other type of passion you want to follow in life, don't think black and white about it and say, okay, I need to leave everything and then just do this, because that backfires a lot of time for most people. If you have a like a 9 to 5 job or something, still do that, and at the on the side start working on your passion. Like for example, this podcast that we are doing is my passion. You can do it with some dedication. If it's 1 hour a week or 1 hour a day, whatever you can, then gradually you grow it. That's a safe way, because some people go crazy and they say, okay, let me quit my job and go work on this, and then they still need to pay the bills, and that passion is not making them money, and then they become obsessed with making money out of it, and the passion goes actually away. There is no passion in it anymore. It becomes like just a means for making money, because if it's just about making money, then it's not your passion, in my opinion. I think passion
Mm,
is something that even if there is no money in it, you still love to do it. I think that's a very good indicator.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm working full time. I'm working on my family business while I do this, so I didn't quit. And are you currently working outside of this, or you're doing this?
This is not my main source of income. I'm in IT business myself, but I'm hoping that as this grows, I can be fully engaged in, so I can be fully engaged in what I love most, because I love talking about things like health, mental health, physical health, spirituality, self realization, and I love helping people, and I learn by helping people also.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I actually quit my working for my family business to pursue stand up comedy,
Okay.
and it was in that was like 5 years ago, six. It was years ago, 6 years ago, and it was hard. It was hard, like not having a income, and not just income, but like it just mentally, I was living off my family, and it was so hard to just that mental struggle of like, hey, like I am not doing anything. Like I felt like I wasn't doing anything productive because it was a creative field, and until it was hard to make money off of it. So I was working for free. I was doing a lot of making my own content and stuff, and I wasn't. I just felt like, oh man, like what am I doing? I quit my father's business, my family business, and I'm not doing anything. And I tried to find. I was struggling, and so yeah, like doing something, not quitting your full time job is definitely definitely a good idea. Like staying with your full time job and then pursuing your passions on the side is definitely a good idea. I feel like definitely, yeah. So I agree with that. And yeah, so to go back to the yeah, so I get energy healing done. I get energy healing done and through this healer in India. It's called pranic healing. Have you heard of pranic healing?
Yeah, I actually, well, this I haven't talked a lot about it except one episode on my podcast. I think it was with Kevin actually. I spent like about 10 years of my life studying and practicing and teaching energy healing. I taught it to over 4,000 people actually back in Iran. It was one of my main things. I was always fascinated about healing and energy healing. And so I practiced pranic healing and Reiki and hundreds of different styles of healing. So I think I can talk about that if you have any questions.
Uh, okay. That's awesome. What do you think? Like, do you have to do it yourself in order to improve, improve mentally? Like, or is it okay if someone does it on you, like an expert does it? Like I have someone who has 30 years experience doing it on me and he's pretty good. and it's super affordable because he's doing this in India. And do you feel like would have to learn it myself and do it on myself in order to grow? Or does it matter? Or is it what if someone does it on me?
I don't want to piss people off, but my opinion after years of studying different styles, I know I'm going to piss some people off, but I don't like pranic healing. I think it's not, it's very, I think we have to do like a long podcast about that. If I want to talk, I can't say the details, but I don't think it's like the best way to do the healing. And it's a bit, you kind of, you're messing up or manipulating people's energy without perfectly being aware of what you're doing, because human body energy system is super complex. And
Mhm.
just because you think if I imagine this color, if I use this crystal, it's gonna help, it's not necessarily gonna help. It might even make the person worse. So I'm not gonna get into pranic healing, but the other styles of healing, the very famous one being Reiki, there is a huge difference between that system and pranic healing. Reiki is a system, a way that you kind of attune yourself to a source of energy, whether you want to call it some cosmic energy or whatever, divine energy. And then with that attunement, you kind of like synchronizing your energy with like a higher vibration and creating the healing or channeling that energy. And that is like an intelligent energy. While in pranic healing, people use crystals or different techniques or whatever to kind of like do a energetic surgery on the person. Like, let me do this, let me do that, let me imagine this, let me imagine this symbol, blah, blah, blah. It's like something you do yourself. While you never know if that's going to be the right healing that the person needs. And the other thing is, if you study healing, ancient healing arts, especially the things that exist in India, in like Tantra and yoga and such, you know, we have multiple bodies in the yoga also. They are known as the Panchamaya Koshas, the five bodies, one of them being the causal body where your karma is stored and so on. By just using some crystals and doing those kind of stuff, you are just addressing, even if you do it successfully, you're addressing the issues on the surface. It's just like on the physical body and etheric body on the surface. But the seed of that issue, health issue or whatever, a lot of time is in your causal body, or a lot of it comes from like the mind. But you're not working on those layers by doing pranic healing mostly. You are working on the surface, as I said. But
Mhm.
one thing about using things like Reiki, which is also extremely messed up, let's say that, like the yoga and thing that we mentioned, is highly distorted these days. When you channel that energy for a person, and first of all, you should know that you're not doing any healing, you're just a channel. So you should be completely empty and say, okay, I invoke this energy for this person. If that person is meant to be healed, is gonna heal. If you try to force it, let me use this crystal, let me push the healing, you're gonna mess up both yourself and the other person. But Reiki, when you invoke that divine energy, it does what's best for that person, because that intelligence of that energy is millions of times more than what you have in your mind. You think, oh, I can do this to heal this person and whatever. And it can work on all dimensions, even in your karmic causal body. So this is a very complex subject. I just suffice to this part. But I think you were talking about mental healing and psychological things. I think
Mhm.
a lot of techniques in even in psychology are using things like NLP and some other things which I can mention later. They work much faster and better. Or Me and Kevin also recently discussed this because I was also teaching him about Yoga Nidra. I don't know how much you know about that, but Yoga Nidra is really, I think it needs to get more attention. It's one of the most powerful healing and meditation techniques, especially because it's super easy. You don't have to do anything really, just other than just lying down and listening to a guided meditation. I think if anybody does it for sometimes 6 months, a year, more, there's no way you won't experience some sort of transformation, healing in some way. I cannot
Is it
promise or
is it
say.
good for is it help with addictions as well?
Definitely, it helps. In
Mhm.
Yoga Nidra, and Yoga Nidra, a lot of people don't know this. Well, Yoga Nidra itself is a term that's been around for thousands of years. What the modern practice of Yoga Nidra was founded by Swami Satyananda Saraswati, which is one of the gurus that has inspired me in my life a lot, along with his guru Swami Shivananda Saraswati, which is very famous or was famous. They're both deceased now. This practice in Yoga Nidra, you put a sankalpa or intention when you do the practice. And he himself says anything in life can fail you, but not the sankalpa that you put in Yoga Nidra. It's that powerful. But this doesn't mean you do it for 1 week and everything changes. If you do it religiously for long time, for whatever it takes, I don't know, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, it will have tremendous effect. So when you put that intention and you do the practice, that energy goes toward that direction, whether it's like physical healing, mental healing, or even like some sort of external manifestation. But there's a lot of things online in the name of Yoga Nidra. It's not necessarily that system of Yoga Nidra. It's just like different ways people like changed it and they're teaching it. If you want to go and learn the authentic way of doing it, you can read his book. It's called Yoga Nidra by Swami Satyananda Saraswati. He explains everything in a very systematic way. You don't even need to listen to somebody's guided meditation. You can even record your own voice and do it. You just
Okay.
have to lie down and just listen to it and follow the instructions.
Okay. Okay. And the book, but if I just type in yoga nidra in YouTube, then it'll be like the it'll be like filtered out. It won't be like the correct version, right?
Oh, there's like hundreds of different versions of it.
And those are not the authentic
Not
ones.
all of them. Most of them that you see online is just like for some overall general relaxation. But Yoga Nidra is known to be a relaxation practice. But the way that he designed it, and he designed those guided meditation practices, which you just lie down and listen to, and it's like a practice of awareness where you take your awareness from one part of body to another part, you bring it on your breathing, you imagine something, some symbols and such. It's a very systematic, well taught system. It's not just about overall relaxation, because there are hundreds of different techniques of relaxation you can use to just relax a little bit. But this system is more about multidimensional healing to address the root cause of the tension that creates the disease, whether psychological or physical. I even mentioned in my book that this disease is lack of ease. This is that lack of ease, especially when we recreating it every day, it turns into more solid disease that haunt us. Then they limit us.
Yeah. Yeah. And the what do you think about like in terms of like so I do meditations, but I do a meditation with the Indian guru in person on Saturdays in Somerset, New Jersey. This guru, it's a Hindu meditation, and I also do the pranic healing, energy healing meditations online through Master Co. Do you have to? I think in one of your podcast episodes, you're saying that you should stick with one thing. Is that how you view it? Like you should stick with one meditation, one type of meditation, or one practice?
Depends. I think that statement was more about you following one system and one guru. That was more about that. But like you do pranic healing and you follow your guru, I don't think they have anything against each other than if that technique, whether you're doing pranic healing or something, is good or bad, that's a different thing. But like, for example, you practice Reiki and then you also follow your guru. I don't think they have anything conflicting. It's like you go to your therapist and you also follow your guru. I don't think there is anything conflicting. But if you go to one guru and he's teaching you this kriya, this type of exercise, breathing practice, and then you go to another guru and he's teaching you another type of kriya, and then you do both of them, especially on the path of like Kriya Yoga, energetic things, Hatha Yoga. In many ways, they can kind of conflict or push you out of balance. Or maybe you chant this mantra from this guru and that mantra from the other guru, and maybe one of them is enough, one at a time, but two of them at every day might cause issues instead of fixing things. There's a lot of subtleties in yoga and spiritual techniques, and this messes up millions of people don't know what they're doing. They just do whatever they think they like, and then they create more issues. Even when I was talking to Vinay, this came up. I told him that according to your current state of health and your constitution, the things that discussed in Ayurveda, body types and such. This breathing practice that might be very healing for me, it might be harmful for you. In the same way that for a person that has like low blood pressure or something, salt is really healing. It's a medicine. For another person which has like extremely high blood pressure, you take more salt is actually makes you worse. So it depends on the person also.
Yeah, yeah. For me, in I get like impatient, especially when it comes to addictions. I'm like, okay, like, and just thinking, addictions and like mental health. I'm like, okay, like this is working. This is not working anymore. Like, if this is not working anymore, in like 2, 3 weeks, I'll be like, okay, I'll try something else.
Yeah.
So like, I was like, right now I'm listening to a lot of sound healing, and that's helping my energy levels. But if I see that I'm kind of like, okay, like it's not helping anymore, or like, um, then I'll I'll still do the sound healing, but I'll do like meditation at the same time. Like right now, I do like sound healing meditations, there's two different types of meditations, and I just keep adding on things, like either like I'll replace it or I'll keep adding it on. And all of a sudden, I'm doing like 6 different things. So like and then if I add on like yoga nidra, is like you said, then it'll be like it's like I'm doing so many different things. It's like, you know, on top of that, I am diagnosed with ADHD. So it's not easy to stay with one thing either.
Yeah.
So I get bored easily. And not sure what your take is on ADHD, but
Yeah.
it's hard to stick with one thing.
I am actually I'm very much like you, to be honest, and I've been also ADHD a lot since childhood. I never took medication. I tried some things for a very short time, like even maybe 1 week. That's it. It didn't work for me. I'm very intuitive, perceptive about my body. I think it's just like a band-aid. I'm not expert on the ADHD, so I cannot say what is right, what's wrong with medication. I'm just saying about my experience. But I think about the ADHD, it's a very vague term used, and if anybody just doesn't have some sort of like good amount of attention, they say this person has ADHD and they call it a psychological disorder. I think it's stupid. One reason being that when you go and fill a questionnaire for ADHD or you do some of these tests when you're trying to focus your mind, just like many other things in modern medicine, they totally dismiss the other aspect of your life. They don't look at your life holistically and they say, okay, just because this person cannot keep his mind in a 30 minutes test on this dot on the monitor, like a common ADHD test that they take these days. This person has a mental disorder, and I think it's really stupid because they don't consider that maybe this person has some other issues in his body and mind that's creating a lot of tension, and he cannot pay attention to that test. Let's say if you've been having horrible digestive issues or backache, it's going to be super difficult for you to study or something. Or if you been recently through some emotional breakup or something, or you're going through some like really bad time of your life, then you do that test and they say, oh, you have ADHD. But they don't consider that something else is creating that tension and issues in you. That's one thing. So let's not generalize and say, oh, if doctor says you have ADHD, then you must have ADHD and this is a bad thing. Second thing is about people with ADHD, including myself. And this is becoming more and more known. I think ADHD in some ways is actually a superpower. It's just like, because those people that are known to have ADHD generally, they have more mental power or energy in some way than average person, and most of the time we cannot channel it if we are not very mindful, and it backfires. That energy, you're talking about addiction, and I dealt with addiction also, it backfires because that energy you need to put it in something like a passion, something, or physical exercise, regular physical exercise to channel it. Otherwise it backfires and messes you up. Let me give you this example. I really like this example. There was this great Sufi Mansur Hallaj. He was one of the greatest Sufis. He was like a Vedantin, self-realized person, and he got really crucified horribly by mullahs hundreds of years ago back in ancient Iran, because he also said like, I am Brahman and al-Haq, I'm God, that kind of statement. And he had a very close disciple. And when they were crucifying him, and it was a very bad scene, they were like cutting his hands and things like that. And this disciple comes to him before they kill him and say, Guruji, master, just give me one advice before you leave me. He looked at the disciple and said, keep your mind engaged in something, otherwise your mind or ego, synonymously, engage you in something. And you heard the saying, they say, empty mind is the playground of devil. So when you don't engage that energy in something, it becomes destructive. Look at a lot of kids. If you don't engage them in some sort of activity, they become destructive. Actually, I adopted 2 kittens, and I've been learning this a lot more. These kittens, if you don't take their energy, don't play with them, don't provide enough activities, they destroy your home. Everybody, I guess, dealt with pets knows them. So when you look at yourself also, you have a lot of passion, energy. If you don't channel it in something on a regular basis, and if you don't follow those things I said in my book, Art of Balance, you don't balance your life, you can easily get destructive. That turns into like addictions, sexual addiction, porn, those kind of stuff, like anger, sensitivities and things like that. So for people with ADHD, in my experience, I think you really need to put your energy to use. Otherwise it becomes a destructive energy. You need to do like some sort of yoga, tai chi, or at least go to the gym or go for a jogging every day. You need to watch your diet and things like that as basic principles, and then put your mind into something that really you're passionate about, so you can be engaged in something and you will see you're much more happy. Because lastly, you mentioned something about instability, like you start something and you want to start another thing in 3 weeks and so on. And I dealt with this a lot for myself. I totally understand what you're talking about. I've had a very hard time sticking to one practice or meditation for many years, and only in last few years I've been more disciplined. And that goes back to, just to make this, keep this short and end it by saying this, neuroscientifically talking about, that goes back to that whole dopamine system where you seek novelty, and you learn a new technique, and you might have experienced this. You learn a new meditation. First week you're doing it, you feel such amazing experience. Then after the second, third week, you're like, I can't even do this meditation anymore. It's like, it's very boring for me. So we seek a lot of novelty to get that energy. But if you engage in your passion on a daily basis, your baseline of your mood and mental concentration gradually uplifts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, and I can agree with a lot of what you're saying about pursuing my passions. And yeah, that's why I'm doing this podcast. I was like, it kind of started off on a whim. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna start an Instagram channel and a YouTube channel. And then I'm like, okay, this is actually helping me like stay focused, engaged in something like you said, like like need something passion to do, something to do is like something to substitute that energy, that addiction energy into something positive. Yeah. And that's great. And then did you I have one more question if you want, or we could end if you want to end.
I'm available. Let's discuss.
Okay, I
I'm
just
not
had
in rush.
okay. Yeah, this topic of manifestation is very popular, and I just wanted your input on manifestation. Like, what's a way to simplify manifestation? Because I think there's a lot of like misinformation out there, and a lot of people out there selling programs.
Yeah.
What do you feel about those programs and like those people selling it, and or more importantly, like how do you simplify manifestation?
Well, manifestation or things like the law of attraction, I believe it became very famous by the movie or the documentary Secret. And like many other things, there are misunderstandings about it. And right now, everybody writes a book on it. But it's not a new thing. It's not a secret, actually. It's been in ancient traditions, sciences, and religions for thousands of years, especially back in India. You can see in yoga, this is known as the wish fulfilling tree. It's like something within yourself that if you create a mental environment and focus on something enough, it will manifest in your external reality. So it's not a new thing. Um, to simplify it, to do it is actually very, very simple. It's just like to train your mind or get the whole of it to do it might be difficult, but doing the technique is very simple. So anything that you can keep your mind focused on with emotions, it will start manifesting in your life. It's not about mechanically saying some affirmations, I have a car, I have a car, I have a car, like that. It's more about creating excitement and already experiencing that car in some ways, or experiencing the emotions that will be created when you have the car. So if you can daydream about something, well, first you need to be in a calm mindset. If you have a lot of anxiety and you're just like, "I want to focus on this," then you cannot calm down and give yourself to experience. Probably it might not work. But when you are in a calm state, I don't know, after you took a massage or a shower or meditation or something, and then you kind of fantasize, daydream about that thing and become excited about feeling that you have it, you are doing it, you are being it, whatever it is. And you keep doing this on a daily basis, sooner or later you will really manifest it. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of spiritual things, metaphysical things that I believe in, but one of the things that I really believe in is the law of attraction, and it really works. You just need to do it on a regular basis and create that energy, as I mentioned. And you saying simplify it. Well, nothing is really simple to say. If I say it in a sentence, everybody should get it. There are many aspects to it. Just to keep it short, there is another aspect to this whole manifestation or law of attraction things, which a lot of people don't know, and that is dealing with the limiting beliefs. Because a lot of time you're trying to manifest something and then you see it's not working, or you don't even internally get into a state of becoming excited about it. It's like something within you says fuck you. It's like you're trying to do it and no, this is bullshit. That goes back to your subconscious programming or limiting beliefs, where you have some sort of resistance to it. One of the very, very common things is some people have fear of success, and it seems to be actually paradoxical, right? Because you say, no, I don't have fear of success. I love to be successful. But subconsciously, because of some sort of belief system or past experience, you might not really want to get successful. You say you want to be successful, but in the back of your mind, something might be saying, if you get successful, then you won't have time to spend with your family because you will be busy. Or if you get wealthy, you will be in more danger because wealthy people will be robbed more and things like that. And mind you, this is subconscious. 99% of our mind, our awareness, we don't even see it. It's like your conscious mind is like the tip of iceberg, but your 99% of your mind is under the water, and that is what controlling your life. Carl Jung said healing is bringing unconscious to conscious. Until you do that, there won't be any healing, because those root causes of the issues, just like I was talking about the causal body in yoga and pranic healing and stuff, the root cause is like much deeper than you just working on your conscious thoughts, or like, okay, this meridian, this energy channel or whatever. A lot of time the root cause is even not in your awareness. You need to contemplate and meditate and do self-inquiry and stuff to find the root cause, to untie that knot, so the healing or the manifestation can take place. Otherwise, when you try to manifest or even create a healing and you keep pushing, and you see it's not happening, you're not going forward, it's like you're also holding the brake at the same time. It's like you keep pushing the gas pedal with your right foot and the brake with your left foot. It's like the car is not moving because your subconscious is keeping you, holding you back. Anyways, summarize. I have read so many books, old and new, on the law of attraction and manifestation. And in many ways, I can say I have not found anything as pure and as practical of teachings of Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you know about him or
Yeah.
her. Yeah. The book Ask and It Is Given, it's like a scripture, not to make it sacred or anything. It's just like a book that you need to go and read again and again and practice. And thing that is very unique about this book, it actually gives you a lot of practices, not to just manifest your wishes externally, but also to become internally happy and fulfilled, because that's the most important thing. Actually, if you're not happy within, that lack of happiness manifests outside. So when you ask me, what do you think is the best method? I think if you read Ascan, it is given, and keep reading it and go back to it, you will learn a lot, not only about manifesting, but also about even healing, even creating an internal state of balance and harmony within yourself.
Okay, great. Yeah, that definitely helps, and that book is great. Okay, thanks, Isaac, for coming on, and I will
Thank you.
post the links to his socials on down below, and and in the description. And I will, it was great, Isaac, to having you on, and I hope you have a great day. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you, Sagar. Have a great day.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.